Can you please welcome to the stage Michel Destrade? And the name of the title is Asher, That Fella Gone Soft in the Head.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Michel. I know what you're thinking. Ooh, his parents really wanted a girl. But could have been worse. I could have been French. So it's nice to see so many familiar faces. Many of my students are here. So you remember the DRS, you keep the ticket, and then we'll talk about that exam thing later. Yeah. So, people sometimes ask me, what's this all about, Michel? Why did you go into science, maths, physics? Did you want to, understand the world around you, the universe? No. I did all this because I wanted to impress the girls. And I gotta tell you, 30 years in the game, and the number of attractive people who've been impressed by my mathematical skills is practically zero. So don't do it. Don't do it for that, anyways. Very low return on investment. So I had to learn English, and as I was learning English, I came across sentences that made no sense at all at the time. Maybe there's some foreigners here, they relate to this. For instance, people will go, "Oh, he's over the moon." I'm like, what? She's under the weather at the moment. Oh, a trapped wind. I've trapped wind. How do you do that? It's magic. Trapping. But there was one sentence I understood straight away, and that's when people say, "Ooh, that fellow is going to be soft in the head." That's me trying to sound Irish. I want to at the end. Soft in the head, right? You get it. And this sentence comes back to me very often because I actually work in the field of soft matter. I'm interested in the mathematics, the physics of soft solids, right? And so soft in the head. Speaking of soft solids, did you hear about that breast implant factory in Limerick? They wanted to make it big in the business. Things were looking up for a while, then they went pear-shaped, and then they went bust. But going back to the brain, yes, the brain. So I actually measured how soft brain is. And to put things into context, I brought some props. Hope it's still there. Yes. Which do you think is softer? Brain is not a real brain. Huh? So imaginary brain or jelly. I chose jelly because I like jelly. Because it's the softest thing I can think of. And also, I'm a big fan of the movie Airplane. I don't know if you've seen this something about jelly and breasts. No? Anyway, which do you think is softer? Miss, which do you think is softer? Brain or jelly? Jelly. Miss, which do you think is softer? Jelly. Which do you think is softer? Brain. Yeah, most people say jelly, right? Because this. Well. So how do you do this, right? It's not obvious, right? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Well, when you want to test how hard or soft a solid is, you just cut out the sample, right? And that's why it's really hard to get volunteers for this experiment. And you just put it in a testing machine, right? And the machine will tell you apply forces, measure the deformation, tells you how soft it is or stiff, and then you do the same with jelly. And I thought, well, we're never going to get volunteers for this, so let's think harder, right? I thought, what if we used an intact brain, and we did this. We got an intact brain from a pig, right? It didn't volunteer, but he didn't have the choice. But it was intact. We didn't have to cut the sample. And then we used this medical machine that just launches a sound wave inside the tissue. It's just amazing. Just launches travels and measure the speed. Right? Wave brain wave, whoa! And then we did the same with the jelly. And then we measured the speed of sound in the jelly. And then doing some maths, physics, so on, can relate the speed of the sound in the medium to the stiffness of the medium. And it turns out, so yeah, I like standing like this. I feel like a cross between Hamlet and Hannibal. To eat or not to eat. And then we had the results came in, and turns out brain is much softer than jelly. Can you believe that? A lot softer. And so that was interesting. We could put numbers on it. And I'm sure you're like, wow, would you do this? Are you paid to do this? Yes, so the first reason, I actually get funding for this, right? And the first reason, I didn't put that in the grant application, but the first reason was that I thought they would impress the girls, right? So you could try it after the gig, you could go downstairs and go up to an attractive person and say, did you know that you are literally soft in the head? She gone. Oh, she gone. So that was the main reason I didn't say it. The second reason, that's the one I put in the grant application, was that I thought, well, if I can come up with numbers for the softness of the material, if I can come up with the physical parameters, then I can feed them into computer code, and I can generate images, even movies, what happens in the brain, you know, maybe when it's hit, when there's an impact. And then I can reconstruct a scenario, an accident scenario, or maybe what happens during a surgical procedure, or maybe I could use all those simulations to create better helmets, so on and so forth, right? Interesting? I thought it was interesting. they bought it. And then, I'm still far from this, but finally I found a real good reason. Once I was talking to a neurosurgeons from the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, and they were telling me about those procedures they do to remove tumors from the brain. And I said, wow, how do you do that? That sounds amazing. So, you just take out a piece of the skull, then there's the brain, and then you just take out the tumor. I said, oh, yeah, how do you do it since it's so soft, right? You don't use scalpels. And no, they don't use scalpels. Right? It's just so soft that the scalpels. So they use a sucking machine. They go, just pull out the brain cells just like that. It's scary. And then I said, okay, so you got the brain in front of you. There's the tumor. There's the healthy tissue. How do you know what is which? Does it look different? No, it looks exactly the same. And so I said, well, how do you know? How do you know where to stop? So it's very simple, Michel. We just go like this. What? Yeah, well, we got a glove on, but for real, they just poke at your brain, because they know that tumor tissue feels different than healthy tissue. In fact, it feels stiffer. Aha! Brainwave. I was like, yes, it's stiff. But I like, is that the best you can do with just the finger? Say, yeah. Or the other guy say, oh, no, I'm more sophisticated. I just listen to the pitch of the sucking machine, like this, and then when I hit the healthy tissue, suddenly changes pitch, and I go, oh, I've gone too far. I said, what? Yeah. I said, well, is that the best you can do? Yeah. That's it. I said, so, what if I was able, maybe to measure the stiffness of healthy tissue versus diseased tissue? They go, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I thought maybe I should work on this, right? And in fact, just a few months ago, I read the PhD thesis from University College London, and they were reporting on the 10 tests that had been done in the Great Ormond Street Hospital in London. The exact test I've just described to you, where for 10 patients, they used the same machine I was talking about earlier to measure the sound speed in the brain at different locations in patients that had tumors. And then they were trying to do statistical analysis and so on. So it's just like there at the edge of science, at the intersection between maths, physics, modeling, experiments, and medicine. Right? It's really exciting. I'm really excited. And I'm glad I was able to share this with you. And like I said, after the show or later in life, if you don't know what to talk about, you could just come up to someone and say, did you know that you are literally soft in the head? Thank you. Thank you.